we all hate to see is entitlement from the privileged.
And it doesn't matter how broke you are, if you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly.
Everyone hates to see some guy sitting in their bedroom talking about how their job is the hardest, while you're punching the clock paycheck to paycheck at an oil rig. And what better place to find first world problems than Twitter? We're going to take a quick look at a tweet that went viral because it does speak to the entitlement people perceive in streamers sometimes. First things first, I do not condone the harassment of anyone here. We're just looking to talk about something that we're all too familiar with. Because despite how badly they were crucified for this, there are actually hints of this that I feel like make legitimate sense. This appeared in the thread a lot, and we can all agree it's the most obvious. No, it's not the viewer's responsibility to make sure you can afford to live. Living for like 99% of the population is already garbage as it is. None of us can even afford groceries. It's definitely one of the easiest jobs to have because nearly anything that happens in it is completely self-inflicted. But it's on you as the entertainer to provide a product worth paying for. But it's the next part where they immediately aggroed the whole room. 5 people won't pay my bills. You should be grateful. It's a full room. 5 of the homies in a room with you is a lot, and the internet does jade us into thinking anyone with less than like 1K is a loser. And this is where I have a take that might kill me too. Imagine if for a second there was a homeless guy eating food out of the trash. You feel bad for him and you pass him the $3, 3 whole munners right from your pocket. Because you handed him 3 American dollars, his net worth and buying power is now within the top 10% on a global scale. I'm sure we should just remind him he's privileged and that $3 is a lot on a global scale while he's fishing for Big Macs in a dumpster. Yeah, it doesn't really sound too motivational when you put it that way now, does it? I know that was a bit extreme, but I can dial it back to something way more realistic. The reason you can't afford a home is because you aren't working hard enough. Yep. Really feeling the bootstraps, ain't we, boys? Come on, we can cut them some slack because hand-waving people like that is one of the most toxic things to ever experience. Like, just nobody likes to hear that their problems are getting hand-waved for no reason. Let's agree to call it a bit cynical, but the only real issue with the tweet isn't even the underlying sentiment. It's actually that the way it's worded and the messenger itself could not have been a worse choice. Most people would still think it comes off as arrogant even if they don't mean it to be, when as a disabled person you have the opportunity to earn income at all. They did go on later to try and clean it up by rehashing that it was in reference to engagement baiting posts, but surprise surprise, the mess is still as dirty as ever. It implies you saw an engagement bait and rather than thinking wow it's not even good bait, you jump to I only have 5 viewers, which is where I believe the entitlement allegation seems to come from. That, and I do have to question, if you only have 5 people there, why would someone even think about a career? Am I a schizo for thinking that? Unless one of them is some sort of Saudi oil baron, about to be a cartoon sugar baby. But I'm not going to be one to demonize them for the crime of pouring their efforts into something they want to work and not being able to get much out of it. It's not like they said something like streaming is the hardest job or like they deserve a mansion or something like that. I think attempting to get the bare minimum isn't really all that bad.